It's not very often that you have not one, but two elite pass rushers become available 2 weeks before kickoff of the regular season, but here we are. What does Monti Ossenfort have to do? Should the Cardinals be calling on Micah Parsons and Trey Hendrickson, Johnny Venerable?
Plus, Drew Petzing says the word we're all thinking, explosives. Does he have enough juice to field a top 10 offense this year? How much pressure is on Dr. Drew? PHNX Cardinals starts now. Hey, welcome in. Studio K, presented by our friends at Circle K. It's the PHNX Cardinals podcast, your premier #1 Arizona Cardinal podcast. Like and subscribe. Leave us a 5-star wherever you get your programming. I'm Johnny Venerable. He's Bo Brack at Studio K. No man behind the mic today. So much going on. Arizona Cardinals less than 3 weeks away from the kickoff in New Orleans. We will be there. Bo, how we living, my guy?
We're living well. Big thank you to everybody joining us early. Mr. Fat Gangster. How about Yuma Drew? What's up, White Town? Steven Jackson, T. Clearly. How about BP, Fuddle, Omar, Ozzy, Kyle Haley. I love it. Rebel Leader, AZ Texan back in here. The Rev Mac. Love that. Amadeus, Steve. Just a full squad. Alberto E, Eric Cross. Let's go. Excited to talk some ball. Lots of news. Went out there at the facility today, Johnny. Team trying to put that ugly preseason performance behind them. Got some insight as far as the joint practice, how it was received by the top coordinators. Some Drew Petzing sound bites coming your way. Some Nick Ralis sound bites about some players you're very interested in. We'll get into all that, plus what happened and transpired on the practice field today.
Let's talk about two players that we're interested in. As much as I would love to dive into a little coordinator talk, we're going to backburn that for segment 2 today. And we woke up this morning. First of all, our guy Clarence at DLLS is the premier Dallas Cowboys beat reporter. He's been in the news with Dallas Fort Worth, of course, now with ALLCITY. Clarence knows it all with regard to the Cowboys. Clarence came on this show in the spring when we were in full-blown Micah mode. The Arizona Cardinals famously, or maybe not so much if you didn't know, attempted to trade for Micah Parsons at the deadline last year. And then that fell through because the Cowboys weren't entertaining it. And then you fast forward to the offseason on our show, and Clarence said that this will get done. It's just a matter of time. Jared will wait to the last minute, and everything will get taken care of. And you and I were both kind of conditioned to think that would happen. You know, Hendrickson very much feels like the more likely of the two to get dealt. But then there was this blurb from Adam Schefter earlier today. Everybody take a listen to the #1 insider in the NFL.
You can't get a deal done if you're not even talking. And the two sides haven't had any negotiations since late March or early April. And it sounds like at this point it's personal. It sounds like each side is dug in. The Cowboys have come out and said what they said publicly at the start of training camp, which Micah didn't like. Micah came out and asked to be traded, said he was ready to move on from Dallas, which I'm sure they didn't like. And right now, both sides seem to be angry. Now, have other people put those feelings aside in the past and figured out a way to work out a deal? Yeah. I don't see that happening here. I see these two sides headed towards a divorce in time. The only question is, when is that divorce going to happen and how is it going to happen? Are they going to trade him now? Are they going to trade him after this year? Are they going to move on when? But it certainly doesn't feel like these two sides want to enter a long-term relationship together. That's the way it feels today, and we'll see if they do anything to change that before the regular season begins in a couple of weeks.
Podcast dropping that bomb this morning that he thought to take from his podcast and isolate it on Twitter, knowing what it would do. Bo, your reaction to that?
I mean, I haven't seen, Adam Schefter
Matter of fact.
Yeah, matter of fact, and dug in and really kind of saying, what's on his chest, getting it off his chest there. It was that was a different look for Adam Schefter. Usually he's just kind of like reporting what he knows, but it's kind of this has gotten as uglier than most Dallas Cowboy negotiations, and they can get really nasty, right? And this, I mean, it's really absurd to think that this was the player, the one probably really worth the money that it's going to cost to extend him and keep him in the building. They can't find some sort of middle ground, especially when all you have to do is just kind of like best the previous contract. All you have to do is take the Myles Garrett contract and then give him a little bit more. I know you got to navigate the cap because all the money you have invested in Dak and CeeDee Lamb and Trayvon Diggs, but like of all those guys, wouldn't you think like Micah Parsons really kind of prioritize him as far as keeping him because he's been the most consistent. He's only missed like 4 games, and he's really the only guy on that defense that shows up week in and week out for them.
Yeah, to me, this is damning on the part of Dallas. You already have Micah coming out and demanding a trade, and then Jerry's like, nobody needs to worry about this. And then like, there's no deal done. And maybe I'm so conditioned to think that there might be, but then you have Adam Schefter say, like, if you asked me yesterday, I would have been like, yeah, they'll probably just pay him like right before the regular season. And now you've got him sitting out of practice and training camp. He's missed it all. Like both with he and Hendrickson, just go find trade partners, just end this. And now we turn it to, the side of the Arizona Cardinals. And we know the Cardinals have had interest in both these players. I reached out. We reported last week or earlier this week. It was yesterday that Cardinals looks like they've pivoted on Trey Hendrickson, at least for the time being, because of the moves they made this offseason. But we really wanted to have a conversation today about, before we kind of compare and contrast what the Cardinals have and what they don't have. We know that the division is as cutthroat as it comes, yet it's very vulnerable right now. You've got, Seattle, who's breaking a new quarterback. Rams quarterbacks, one step away from being done for his career. And then, of course,
he's dead.
Yeah. He's dead.
Matthew Stafford died.
Yeah. All right.
Weeks ago.
Good Lord. There it is. Doppelganger Stafford. And then
him and Avril Lavigne, man, they've got imposters living their lives now after post-mortem.
Weekend at Stafford's. And then, of course, the 49ers are a shell of themselves. This is the kind of move that would allow the Arizona Cardinals to put a stranglehold on this division. You would assume. Do you think there is a responsibility or an obligation for the Cardinals to at least inquire on both players, given the fact that, there's some vulnerability with this offense now? Why not just push your chips in the middle of the table with this defense? And by the way, Micah Parsons is 26 years old.
Yeah, I mean, like Micah Parsons is one of those players where I think all 31 teams should inquire, do their homework, and realize like, hey, this guy is an absolute war daddy, game wrecker, top 5 football player in the universe.
Right.
Like that's the caliber of player Micah Parsons is. Double-digit sacks in each and every one of his seasons coming out of Penn State. So versatile, all the things he can do. His age, he's entering the prime of his career, and he'd be worth every penny of a max extension that you would give him. And then also, you have to factor in like what it would cost to pry him away from the Dallas Cowboys. And I think you've got that. Like, I think you would be a bit naive to say like, oh, I just don't think like they should inquire. I think they should absolutely just monitor it.
Yeah.
And I don't think like them liking their room of Josh Sweat, Zaven Collins, Baron Browning, Jordan Birch, like it would be ignorant of me to say like, well, they like those guys, so stay away from Micah Parsons. Like, I'm not saying that, but I also do believe like there's a lot of confidence in that room. And if the price is just astronomical, which I'm sure it is from Dallas and what they would want in return, plus the max extension that you would have to give him, it seems like it would be a lot in order to get that deal done that I just don't think is feasible.
Yeah. I mean, the Cardinals, we're looking at teams around the NFL like Carolina and the Colts. You have these desperate teams that feel like they have to win this year. The Colts, Danny Dimes with Chris Ballard and Shane Steichen. Like, they don't win this year, that everybody probably going to be fired. And, what's his name?
This year. You said
Yeah.
they got Danny Dimes starting at quarterback. Yeah.
It's over for them.
Yeah.
Carolina, who feels like, Nick Scorton, I don't know if you saw this, his lung collapsed and potentially is jeopardizing his ability to play football long term. Remember the kid from, I think, Texas A&M.
Yeah.
So they're in the market. They know they have to win. And then there's Arizona. And here's where I'm at with this. The Cardinals' floor, I think, is still very high this year. But if the offense, and this is what I keep coming back to until I see otherwise, if the offense is not going to be in a position to help them beat good teams consistently, the best way to counteract that, if you have any trepidation, if you have any hesitation, if you're Ossenfort and Gannon, go in and refortify defense opposite Josh Sweat and get yourself a premium player. What would a division title, even if it's led by defense, do for Gannon and Ossenfort long term? It would give them immense security with Michael Bidwell. It would give them immense grace with this fan base. I am not in the business of certainly taking playoff bursts for granted, but division titles, I think this is a year in the NFC West where, like last year with the Rams, I think this is what Seattle's mindset is: win the division with defense, timeliness. The Cardinals have the makings of, and people can scoff at this, elite special teams. They have in my opinion, one of the best kicker punter combinations, young guys going in the NFL. Get into that right now. And then hopefully there are going to be days where Marv and Kyler and Trey blow people out of the water, and it's an easy Sunday. But I think it's like, as we get closer to the regular season, like, I don't know what I'm getting with this offense week to week, especially against good teams. I feel like it would behoove them at least to, as you said, monitor the situation.
Yeah. I'm going to quote you on that. Johnny Venerable says, stay at Micah Parsons trade talk because he likes the kicker punter combination. That's right. That's your main argument.
Yeah.
You love Blake Gillikin and Chad Ryland, what they can do as far as kicking the football. And I don't think Micah Parsons eases anybody as far as their skepticism as far as this offense. I haven't changed on how I feel about the offense after, watching training camp or anything like that. I mean, I feel like the Marv is going to get more rhythm targets, and I think that's going to be helpful. So I'm not as concerned, I think, as maybe the masses, but I still don't think like a Trey Hendrickson or Micah Parsons helps ease that. But like it's just a matter of going out there and aggressively getting a really good football player on your team. And are you willing to part with the draft capital, and are you willing to pay the money that both these players and Hendrickson and Parsons are going to command? And that's it's not relative to the league a little bit. It's a lot to give up for that. So you have to be fully confident that you're gonna be able. Those are going to be the guys that are going to put you over the top. Not just like be NFC West champions, but be a team that's going to be in the conference championship game or playing in the final Sunday of the season.
I mean, they haven't won a division title in 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. Like, not all division titles are created equal, but I mean, you'd be fortified if you traded for Micah Parsons. You would have to feel pretty good about where you're at with Kyler Murray, because you're not going to have assets to go get another quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they do feel good about it. But I also think you can win a certain style, of play. I worry about this offense being too inconsistent, this defense then having to do too much heavy lifting with not enough impact players, at least established ones. Like, I like Jordan Burch. I'll like him more in 2 or 3 years from now. Same with Taylor Demerson. Same with Will Johnson in 12 to 18 months. Like, how many times we say this on the show? Like, the time is now to win. And again, can you toe that line? Like, Hendrickson's going to cost less, but he's older. Parsons is going to cost more, but you're going to get the peak of his career, right? I mean, Chandler Jones came here when he's 26. He's one of the greatest Cardinals of all time. So I wanted to go ahead.
No, I mean, when you think about what Hendrickson or Parsons could bring, and we talked to Nick Ralis today, and he's excited about how the defensive front is winning with 4, has the ability to win and win quickly at the line of scrimmage. Like, you add 2 war daddies like that, or one of the 2 war daddies, whichever one it is, and we're talking completely different deals and extensions, but both are going to command both of those. It gives you ability to win with 4. That's what the Cardinals want to do. But at the same time, there is confidence and a want to see, how guys like Jordan Birch develops. Now I know like that's ultimate eye roll. It's like we're talking Micah Parsons, Trey Hendrickson, you're trying to sell me on Jordan Birch, but you have to understand, like, I think like the sum of the parts here, as far as the entire defense, like I think the Cardinals really want to kind of see what this is about, and there isn't like any urgency to truly engage in any type of trade discussion on either one of these players. When you see like what it would command to get one of them.
Yeah, I get that. I'm a Jordan Birch fan. I've been pleasantly surprised. And I liked the draft pick at the time, and he looks the part in preseason, training camp, and goodness, they don't even have their 16th overall pick yet participating. Yeah. I think I just feel like, watching these teams that assert their dominance in the division, I get it. The Rams traded for the most important position, but the Rams got aggressive. They traded for Stafford. The 49ers were gifted it, but they pursued Trent Williams, right? The impact stalwarts, once upon a time, Seattle traded for Marshawn Lynch. It changed their franchise. Like Cardinals can have their cake and eat it too. First of all, they've earned the opportunity and the right to make a move like this if they wanted to. 28 draft pick. I mean, you can make an argument that based on like the results over the weekend, like sometimes they're a little bit too young, right? They have too many youthful players on the roster. And again, it's a young man's league, and I let them play and play well. But whether it's Parsons or Hendrickson, I don't know. You look at the landscape of this pass rush group, and as much as we were fans of Baron Browning, how he's looked this preseason, it's still Baron Browning 2 sacks a year ago. And so what I want to do around the corner, we're gonna take it.
One last thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, as it pertains to Micah Parsons, he's got the podcast. He's got, I think there's a couple different cases of players who have exited the Dallas Cowboys organization. Like the Micah Parsons on the field, schematically, the production, like that all makes sense. But does he fit the culture within the locker room?
I think if you're worried about that, like, I mean, they have so many good guys in this locker room.
Big thing. It's a big thing that they don't really cut any corners on.
I think, might be time to cut some corners and win some games in December and January. We're going to do a tale of the tape here with the Cardinals pass rush group compared to the 2 available pass rushers on the market. Plus, Drew Petzing talks. Explosives? Are they coming? Maybe not. PHNX Cardinals right around the corner. I want to remind you something else coming right around the corner is our friends with Phoenix Raceway Championship Weekend. Right now, don't miss your chance to witness NASCAR Championship Weekend in person. Again, if you've been in Phoenix long enough, we do big events. Phoenix does better than anybody. Royal Rumbles. I think there was a WrestleMania once upon a time. BCS Championships, Fiesta Bowls, Super Bowls, NBA Finals, whatever your taste is. How about a NASCAR Championship Weekend? Could blow all of them out of the water and more. Again, they get the best access to NASCAR fans in all of sports, and they're going to hook you up right now to make things even better. It all goes down at Phoenix Raceway on one of the best tracks in the NASCAR circuit. Don't miss your chance again to check out NASCAR Championship Weekend in person, Phoenix Raceway, October 31st. It's coming up quick through November 2nd. Tickets for the Cup Series Championship race sells out every year, so move fast to get your tickets now. And here's the kicker. NASCAR is taking championship weekend on the road starting in 2026. So this is your last chance to catch it in Phoenix for a while. Perfect opportunity to parlay it with a cards game. Tickets, hospitality, and upgrades are still available. Get your tickets now in the show notes.
We all know you're a huge Valley sports fans out there. You love your Cardinals. You love your Suns. You love your D-backs. Rally House is the go-to spot for all your local Arizona team gear with tens of thousands of products to shop from. Unbelievable selection as far as showing off your fandom here as far as being a Valley sports fan. Shop locations, 3 of them here in the Valley. How about Tempe, Mesa, Glendale? Have you checked out the Rally House for all your game day needs? How about you got your hats? They got them. Jerseys, best selection in town. Drinkware, signage, coolers, socks, even sunscreen. That's right. You can be protecting your skin from the sun. SPF fan. That's what you got right there. You're just going to slap it on your skin, and you're going to be healthier, and you're going to be supportive of your favorite team. Go carry the only Arizona sports teams along with our friends over at Rally House. Every time you visit Rally House, you are guaranteed to find something new, unique, and matches your game day vibe. Check it out. Find your local Rally House location right now and shop their entire product assortment online. Rallyhouse.com. That's rallyhouse.com.
Big thanks to everybody watching. Hammer that like button. A little light on the likes. We appreciate you guys nonetheless. Hammer those likes. 500 is the goal. Presenting sponsor today, our friends at Bet365.
Passive aggressive.
Yeah,
kind of light.
All right. Get some likes. Man, I got something everybody's gonna like. I know my co-host is gonna like this. We've got some pretty major announcements coming up on this show. Last year it was Mina Kimes. I know some people have been asking, where's Mina? Mina's hanging out with our friends at PHLY. And so go check her out there, staying within the ALLCITY family. So excited to hear her talk Eagles ball. Hoping early next week, we're going to let you know one of our marquee, and that's putting it mildly, Bo, in-season analysts on this fine little fanboy podcast. Can't wait.
Probably the biggest thing we've ever done. Is that?
Yes, 1,000%.
Maybe underselling it a little bit.
And Mina's great. Mina's great.
Yeah.
But this is it's a big deal.
This is gonna shake the ground that you stand on. I don't know. Noah, you disagree? Noah's laughing. I don't think he agrees with me.
No, I agree. I agree.
Am I overselling it?
I mean, I don't think the size of the person would literally shake the ground.
True. That's factually correct.
The magnitude and the credibility that is going to be brought to this show is unparalleled. And we've had some tremendous recurring guests, and very fortunate getting everything finalized. Big shout out to our leadership, and we're pushing over the finish line. And if you thought last year was fun, this year it's going to be a blast. Baldy's back as well.
Yeah.
We'll have Baldy a couple times a month, but yeah, this person it's not Steve Keim. No, for those.
No, I like that from Eric. There's a couple Keim. Fitzgerald making a weekly Studio K appearance. Larry Legend, huh? Ian, I assume that's Ian Rappaport.
Tip Ryman.
Yeah. Ryan H. Yeah,
Ryan,
Tip.
There's a shout out to Kurt. How about Monica Espo? Yeah. Ian or Adam, Isaiah Simmons, maybe Killer Rex. You couldn't pay me to have Isaiah Simmons on this show.
Yeah, we would announce it and then he would not do his hit. Like he's the interviews we had on set up.
That. Billy Price, Jack Sawyer, Marco Wilson. I love the fans of the show. Everybody gets it. You guys get it. All right. We can't go too much into detail because we'll spoil it. But hoping to make that announcement in less than a week. So keep it locked down on all of our socials. Keep it locked here on PHNX Cardinals. It'll be quite the end of the offseason with this announcement and a Micah Parsons, Trey Hendrickson trade to your little fanboy podcast. So we had producer Noah, like he's prone to do, cook up a graphic to kind of contextualize and put it into visual presence where the Cardinals sit with their pass rush group from a year ago and who's available right now. Let's see it, Noah, man. Trey Hendrickson famously leading the NFL with 17.5 sacks last year, and that was the combined total of everybody who plans to rush the passer for the Redbirds this year, Brack.
Yeah, this graphic doesn't make you feel great. Doesn't make you feel comfortable, and you're really projecting what could be as far as this defensive front seven, and then the interior of that as well with the additions or the health of Darius Robinson, hopefully of Walter Nolan, and then Calais Campbell, Dalvin Tomlinson. But I mean, look, these are some of the most consistently productive pass rushers in the league. Trey Hendrickson's got 35 sacks over the last 2 seasons. Micah Parsons, as I said, double digits each and every year of his career. Just an unbelievable player, and he can do all the things that Ralis and Gannon want from their outside linebackers. So, when it's broken down like this, you're like, make the call, right? But I don't think it's that simple. I mean, like I said, it's kind of the sum of the parts. The defense as a whole that you're going to lean into that you hope Nick Ralis can really kind of take to the next level. I mean, giving him a chess piece like Micah Parsons and Trey Hendrickson would be putting rocket fuel in this thing, but just the cost that it would take, it's a bit too much.
I look at the Cardinals group now and I ask myself, and I pose it to everybody, like, are you confident that this group's going to eclipse 17.5? I am. I think Zaven and Sweat will both eclipse their number from last year. Xavier Thomas, I'm not sure is going to be on this team. BJ Ojulari is a ways away from contributing. And Baron Browning and Jordan Birch, can they get 5 sacks apiece, right? Bo's a little bit higher on Browning. I think Browning's had a good camp. I mean, if Sweat gets 10, Zaven gets 6, Baron Browning and Jordan Birch get 5 apiece, I mean, you're talking about 26, 27 sacks for that group. So, and then you're going to get pressures and sacks from your defensive tackle group. And I'm sure that's what the Cardinals are banking on. Whereas this group last year, outside of Dante Stills and LJ Collier, didn't get any help in the middle of this defense. So, I look at this. If you're asking me what my preference is, it's Trey Hendrickson. Trey Hendrickson is not going to cost you a first. The Cardinals have already shown interest. It's disappointing to hear that they potentially pivoted, but I think the Cardinals check all the Bengals boxes. You could send back Jordan Birch. It would be, a conservative day 2 pick. You could send the Trey Hendrickson out of the AFC, and I don't know if this matters to them or not, but you could send them to a market that's not, let's just call a spade. Like, Cardinals aren't consistently on national TV yet. Like, that's a move where I think the PR hit in Cincy would not be as significant if you sent Trey Hendrickson to the LA Rams or something like that. So to me, like, that's the move to be made. If I'm putting Johnny GM hat on, that's what I would do. But, like, they call on Micah Parsons for a reason, because they thought, okay, this could be a corner piece of what we're doing. But I think a lot of that was, Micah, come here and help us finish the job in 2024. And then we saw the Cardinals
was bare.
Right. And then we saw the Cardinals offense kind of wet the bed down the stretch. And it's just like, well, what if this is a problem beyond just our defense? So one thing we really didn't touch on, this is what scares me. I mentioned the LA Rams. It's like, this division is aggressive. And I don't think the Niners are in play for either of these guys, because they've got Mykel Williams and Nick Bosa, right? So you put them off to the side. Historically, yes, they would be in play. Seattle needs an edge rusher, maybe 2. The LA Rams are...
The Rams have done this deal before. They did it with Jalen Ramsey, basically.
Right.
They added him to a different part of the defense, but took one of the top defensive players in the league, paid the premium price, with draft capital and of course, extension money. They did it, and it paid off.
It did, and they got their championship. Like, I'm even like, Trey Hendrickson doesn't have to guarantee you anything, Super Bowl, but like, if you traded for Trey Hendrickson or Micah Parsons, like, this fan base, the jersey sales, the relevancy, the juice that you would have, I do feel like right now we need a little juice. Like, we got some juice, right? And the best form of that is going to come in dubs. But, like, the Cardinals are in a great spot to win the division this year. But I don't feel that momentum that I wanted to have at the end of the preseason. Is that fair? Like, I wanted to get to the end of the road from training camp, less preseason, more training camp, and be like, the same way we felt, the year Cliff took off in 2021. You could sense this team Kyler looked unbelievable in that training camp. It was my first year covering the team for PHNX. 2015, they had the momentum, Carson coming back. The team was loaded. I want that momentum. I don't know if I have that right now. And again, Rams started 1-4 last year, won the NFC West. So it's a marathon. We know it's not a sprint, but to me, it's like something like this, that then you could turn to the guys in your locker room and be like, this is our belief in you. Go do it now.
I'm going to say something lame here, and it's just, it's the conservative approach, and everybody knows that that's what I do on this show, right? But like, we've got these 4 players in this pass rush room, and hold on.
You're emotional talking about.
Yeah, I'm emotional. It's dusty in here. No, it's just, you've got these 4 guys. You've got this opportunity to get off to a quick start, right? You've got the 6 games against non-playoff teams to start the season. You're facing not great quarterbacks to start. Probably not great offensive lines.
Yeah.
You have a chance to come out of the gates like super hot here. And if you get going, and you don't need everything to be perfect in order to do so, to start the season, 5-1, 4-2, 6-0, whatever it may be, put yourself in a really good position and then take inventory and like, how's this pass rush unit doing? Do we need to add something to this? Do we need to add to the defensive line? Do we need to add to the secondary? We need to add to the playmaking department and then use those assets, that draft capital. Like, I don't think it's going to be too late. I mean, you see teams be able to do that. And, if a team wants to be aggressive right now and spend that much, I think you just kind of like tip your cap and say, hey, like, but like kind of what I was saying last year, but more so I feel confident more in the pieces in place. Like, go earn yourself making a big move instead of just doing it right now.
I do think, though, and I'll push back a little bit, the trade deadline always ups the price consistently.
Sure. Yeah.
And you're competing with teams that feel like they're also in it. This is a safe space sometimes.
Yes. That's why I was choked up. I was so scared.
I think there's a little bit of momentum here, not to get a deal per se, but yeah, to get a deal. I certainly think get a deal from Cincinnati. I think the Cincinnati Bengals are so poorly run, and Jerry Jones to some extent. Couldn't you just see Jerry giving away Micah for a first and some change and being like, we love that deal because of how senile Jerry Jones has become? Whereas buy low now, Bees. I feel like now would be the time to buy. I don't want to be thrust into an environment at the trade deadline with like the arms race, like we see during the MLB trade deadline, where everybody's going at you have to give up your best prospects. The Cardinals, to me right now, and again, like the questions that people have about this offense and specifically Kyler Murray, like even if they're playing well, Bo, even if they're 6-2 or 7-1 at the trade deadline, there are going to be skeptics, maybe in the Cardinals building. They're like, let's see how you finish it. I don't even know if the trade deadline is like a safe space to come. They were 6-4 last year. It was all right in front of them. They were the odds-on favorite to win the NFC West, and they blew it. I don't know. They just don't take anything for granted. But again, it's not, my decision to make. If it was my decision to make, Trey Hendrickson would be a Cardinal opposite Sweat, and you'd be like, let's put Matthew Stafford in a literal body bag. Let's put Brock Purdy in the dirt, right? How aesthetically pleasing that would be. There you go. Stafford died weeks ago. You know what I mean? Matthew Stafford's gone. I got told by somebody at Broncos joint practice that the plan for Stafford is league insider, that Stafford's just not going to practice this year. He's just going to do walkthrough. He's going to do the Plexico Burress where he's not practicing during the weekend. He's just going to roll out there. I'm going to tell you right now, if you lose to that this year, shame on you. No excuses. No. Excuses.
Yeah, they're just going to put him in bubble wrap. They're going to have him in one of those incubation tanks in that trailer that they've got outside of Rams camp, just in there and just motionless in some sort of liquid.
Back to tank.
Yeah, I just don't know. I don't get the sense that this team is going to go and pull off this big time move before. But if it happened, if the Ian Rappaport, Adam Schefter, Mike Garafolo, Tom Pelissaro, Diana Rossini bomb hit my timeline, you telling me I wouldn't fire up these mics and be pumped about what the Arizona Cardinals are? Yeah, absolutely inject it. But
inject it like Mike's injecting that Long John Silver in his car.
It just hasn't, like when you go out there and you're like, hey, you need a pass rusher, and say, here's Baron Browning for you. I don't get the sense that this is a team that's going to go big fish hunting, big game hunting. And,
right.
We'll see. I mean, as they take inventory stock of what they need, as we're a week away from cutdown day, how do they view this roster? I mean, we've talked to somebody close to a situation that thinks they have a really good team.
And to be fair to Gannon and Ralis and Ossenfort, they have done enough to win this division defensively. The defensive additions, the talent that's on display.
What are we talking about here then? We're talking about two game-wrecking, war daddies.
I think they have done enough. However, assuming that the offense gets it together.
Like what you're outlining is the game plan from Waterboy. It's like you just need You get
No,
Micah Parsons
I am
and
mirroring.
he'll just go outright win you the game in all three phases.
I
'Cause
am
you don't have any
mirroring.
trust in the offense.
Bo, the Arizona Cardinals last year scored, I think, 33 more points than the LA Rams did last year.
Yeah.
The Rams had a minus point differential.
Mm-hmm.
The Cardinals had better statistics on both ends. The Rams won the division with timely quarterback play, but with a defense that got boat raced early that became the best defense in the NFL at the end of last year. To me, it's like I see the value in it because I know how starved we are for a playoff berth and a division title and a superstar pass rusher. But again, I'm not going to sit here and be like the defense lost the Arizona Cardinals, the opportunity to win the West this year. It comes down to the offense. Speaking of that, we're going to hear from Drew Petzing right around the corner. What's your confidence level in year 3 of Drew? That's coming up. What's your confidence that you can get a meal right now anywhere you go for under $5? How about zero? Zero confidence, right? I got McDonald's the other day. I'm just going to throw them into this ad read. $18 for 2 Happy Meals. Egregious. It was a joke. It's plastic food. It was terrible. I'm going to tell you right now. I should have. So the McDonald's outside of my neighborhood is you take a right, and then Circle K's you take a left. I'm never going right again. I'm always going to the Inner Circle for my meal deal matrix. $3 meal deal matrix right now. Hot dog tornado, Frito-Lay's chips, Polar Pop. It's under $4 right now. How about kicking your day off with a breakfast Sammy, a hash brown, a medium coffee, $4. That is unbelievable. That's like a full meal for $4. My kids' school lunches do not cost $4. Okay. But Circle K is like, we're a throwback. We're an American Constitution organization, and we're here to help feed America. $5 meal deal, 2 slices of pizza, any 20-ounce Polar Pop. Again, $5, 2 huge slices of pizza. Join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. I was in Denver with these gremlins last week. No Circle K's in sight. We went to some fraud rest stop gas station, and I'm just like, these prices are egregious. This food looks terrible. I can't wait to get back to the Valley and my friends at Circle K.
Yeah, you got a fountain drink. They're like, that would be $17. Excuse me?
Excuse
Where's
me.
my 79-cent Polar Pop, sir? Oh, yeah. And I saw they had a spicy chicken sandwich at Circle K today as I made my stop there for a Polar Pop before coming in. Looked elite. Put that part of the meal deal. I'm in for it. Look, hot summer months continue. We are navigating the month of August. Why not do that while being savvy, saving money on energy costs with our friends over at APS Smart Thermostats? How much do you think those are going to cost? Not the same as a Happy Meal. How about $0? Yeah, $0, and the McDonald's slander continues. Smart thermostats as low as $0 with our friends over at APS. They'll get you enrolled in their cool rewards program, and you can take that smart thermostat, take your smartphone, and then take APS's cool rewards program, and you're going to save a bunch of money that you would otherwise spend on cooling costs this summer here in the Valley of the Sun. Check it out right now. APS customers may be eligible for those smart thermostats as low as $0 when you get and enroll in APS Cool Rewards program. If you already have a smart thermostat, it's probably eligible as well. Check it out. You can only find out if it is eligible at marketplace.aps.com. That's marketplace.aps.com. See if you're eligible to enroll in the Cool Rewards plus free install available at the link in the video description. Check it out. Must be an APS customer. Pay shipping and taxes. Other restrictions apply. Go to marketplace.aps for more information.
Everybody hammer that like button. Get us to 500 likes here on a Football Tuesday. Tim asking, please don't put any clips of Drew Petzing on the screen. Tim, we're only going to put them up harder. We're only going to do it harder here. As Bo and the rest of the Phoenix media met with the Cardinal coordinators today, and as much as I love Nick Ralis and the swag and the vibes he brings, the attention is on one Drew Petzing, who will be calling plays, I would imagine, this weekend after a tough weekend for Drew Terrell in Denver. Bo, your takeaways from the third-year Cardinal OC?
It's tough to get anything from the Cardinals offensive coordinator. He can coach speak pretty hard. Like he will, he's at the top of his coach speak game. But you can draw from his comments little tidbits here and there. Teo Mackey was asking about the introduction of explosives in the passing game because they're a team that's been known for the explosives in the run game. This was Drew Petzing's response.
We do only in that it produces points. If you look at the majority, scoring drives in the NFL, a good portion of them contains some version of an explosive play. Not all of them, but a lot of them. So it's a measure that we look at because it affects that, and it's something we always want to make sure that's at the forefront of our mind in terms of the way we scheme both the run and the pass game.
So not much there. We've heard from players saying that they're going to emphasize explosives in the passing game. He's admitting that most scoring drives involve explosive plays, and that I think they need to do it at a more consistent rate. Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know what he was going with on that bite. I don't know if he was like, we have one of the most consistent units with scoring points. Like they kicked a lot of field goals last year.
Yeah.
They had a bad combination last year where they couldn't do explosives and they were also not great in the red zone. That's a bad combination. I'm going to read some numbers off to everybody. Okay. I think this was before the finale last year, kind of skewed it. But entering week 18 against the Rams, the Cardinals were 22nd in passing yards, 29th in passing touchdowns, 29th in pass plays over 20, and 28th in pass plays over 40. So down there with the slog of the NFL, the Giants, the Tennessee Titans, et cetera. And that's not even like yards through the air. That's just straight explosives, right? Generating explosive plays through the air. And then they juiced up their numbers in the finale against the corpse of the 49ers. And I think a lot of us remain skeptical because they had 16, 17 passing touchdowns through 99% of the regular season. So is it play calling? Is it personnel? Is it a combination of both? And I posed this question to you on our post-game show, and I'm going to continue to ask it. I think it's the theme of this year with this offense. Is this the offense that Jonathan Gannon envisioned him sporting when he took this job over and hired Drew Petzing? I would guess no. It's great that they can run the ball and they can pass protect better than anybody. And, they got Tip Ryman, and we're going to hear about how much Drew loves Tip here in a second. But it's like, is this what you thought you signed up for? Because I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know how much better these teams are going to be from a win-loss perspective, but there are going to be teams this year that have a much more competent passing game than they did a year ago. The Chicago Bears being one of them.
The run game it was tied with Baltimore as far as chunk explosive plays in the league. So check. They had one pass play over 50 yards last year.
Awful.
Not good enough, right? So you could just say run game, we're confident, but there does have to be an emphasis in it. And regardless of what you're going to hear, you're not going to hear it in any Drew Petzing press conference. There does seem to be an emphasis on it as far as the offense is going into 2025.
If I'm Joe Blow asking you that, how do you know that? If I'm Johnny on the street.
From what we've talked to Kyler Murray at the end of last season, and what we've heard, from different questions asked leading up to this season. Michael Wilson has been very transparent about that. I think they understand where they fell short last year and what they want to change offensively. So, we'll see. I mean, it's going to come down to execution. It's going to come down to dialing up the plays and then, obviously finding those plays deep downfield and really emphasizing pushing the ball. So I don't know if there's going to be much more you can add to it. You're not seeing it and I don't think they're going to even roll it out or attempt it in the preseason because that's what I think they're really going to try to incorporate this season.
One of the most dysfunctional relationships with this franchise and this fan base was the treatment of Marvin Harrison Jr. in this passing game and the lack of consistent targets that he received or didn't receive last year. Here's Drew Petzing on Marvin year 2.
If we ever complete 100%, I will be blown away. That is a fact. But I think it's just, I think both of their confidence in those interactions and knowing when they have the one-on-one, where to put the ball, going to make some of those plays in critical situations, which I think we've seen time and time again. So I think it's the confidence that they show in each other, and we feel that as well as coaches.
He's talking about the relationship, the rapport between Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. And, we've heard from Gannon yesterday, Petzing today, to Marv himself yesterday, that they really do feel like that chemistry is trending in the right direction. Now, the question was from Theo Mackey asking, there were some incompletions early in the joint practice on Thursday, and that's where his response were like, if it's ever 100%, yay, or that's a good thing because it's never at 100%. But I think what we've seen as far as the incorporation, the involvement in Marvin Harrison Jr. throughout training camp, and there's no other thing to really grade it off of. It's increased, and that's really all you could ask for.
Yeah. I mean, they got to do it and make it look more efficient than last year. I mean, the targets weren't consistent, but neither were the completions last year. And so I'm with you. It's probably the biggest improvement from a year ago. If anybody asks you what's the biggest improvement from 2024 with this offense, it's the cohesion with Marvin Harrison Jr. But it's not perfect. It's not where you would want it to be, with Matthew Stafford and Puka Nacua or whomever's a quarterback and Justin Jefferson. Like you want that consistency.
Yeah.
And that comes with the play caller, the person that's throwing the passes, and Kyler Murray, and then obviously Marv himself. Is that enough though? And again, Marvin himself has to show an ability to have the yak ability that wasn't on display last year, the big play ability that we really only saw against the LA Rams in week 2. Like we talk a lot about explosives and 40 to 50-yard plays. Are we asking the right questions? Like, is Marv the right person to go to for that?
Yeah.
And we're going to find out.
There was a question today for Drew Petzing. I don't have his answer, but I'll paraphrase about Trey McBride. And if there's, often most big play offenses, especially in the passing attack, they run through a wide receiver.
Yeah.
Is there any concern, that yours would run through a tight end? And the answer was, of course, no. But when we hear from, even when like Tom Brady's called games, and say what you want about him as an announcer, I trust the standpoint, the perspective from a 7-time Super Bowl champion, played the quarterback position at the highest level. And then, Britton Golden, who's our co-host on this show, who played under Bruce Arians, who knew all about driving the ball downfield. It was one of his specialties. Is when you have an X receiver like Marv, you have to get him involved early. And even if you have a playmaker the caliber of Trey McBride, I think it's essential. Like, even though you're like, hey, we're getting the ball to Trey and it's working and we're running offense, but I still think like you're doing yourself a disservice if you're not getting Marvin Harrison Jr. the ball consistently and in rhythm.
I mean, to me, and this is going to come off as like a hot take, it's a fireable offense to be sitting here at the end of the year and still having questions about the usage for the 4th overall pick last year. You either need to put him in a position to succeed for you by spamming him targets and making sure he feels comfortable and is included in the game plan. And then guess what? If Marvin then doesn't perform, then you can turn to everybody and say, look, we're going to go, we're going to continue to prioritize number 85 because number 18 isn't Malik Neighbors or Brian Thomas Jr., although I don't think that that's going to be the reality of what ends up happening. But there is no excuse, and it's a fireable offense to be sitting here in December and January, and number 18's got 3 to 5 targets a game. Then you are not the right coordinator to unlock this offense. Yeah. We will have an answer to that. And again, you want to talk about Kyler Murray's part and all that? Absolutely. But if Marvin Harrison Jr., I don't know, who's the coach of the Tennessee Titans? Is he an offensive guy?
Yeah, Callahan.
Yeah. If you just put Marv with Cam Ward and Callahan in Tennessee on a bad team, and they were like, we don't got a lot going for us, but we feel confident about this combination, I think Marv would have a big year. Like, Marvin, unfortunately, has been thrust into an environment that is not yet shown to be conducive for wide receivers succeeding. And if that remains consistent, then there huge changes need to happen at the end of the year.
Yeah. They're not always telegraphing anything or too transparent as far as the Petzing press conferences go, as I play, translator here, and you can joke that I go and sit at the lunch table with Kerry Wadded for him.
You do.
I do. I'm a big Petzing shill. The thing I see often is like Tip Ryman. They think that there's going to be some sort of offensive evolution for Tip Ryman. There's not going to be an offensive evolution. Like Tip Ryman, he's brought in the block. He's going to block. He's going to be a big, mean, nasty blocking tight end. And that's going to be his role. And he might catch a ball every third game. This is what
Every
Drew Petzing, this is what Drew Petzing had to say about Tip Ryman and his role in the offense.
I think the value is immense in terms of what we ask him to do, in terms of what it allows our offense to do. To the earlier question, there's an elite player, there's different role, whether that's catching passes, statistics, all those different things. He might not be the first pick on a fantasy team, but on an NFL football team when we're trying to win games, his ability in that role is extremely important.
I like Tip and what he provides to this team. I think there's immense value. I also think he represents right now the problem with this team, the philosophy offensively. I just think it's like the
poster
root
child for that. Come on, man, don't do
root,
that.
It's the root cause of our frustration. I was just watching some tape of the 2008 Arizona Cardinals and high flying and Anquan Bolden, Larry Fitzgerald, Steve Breston, right? And like, you can have a prolific receiving tight end, but when we're sitting here asking about a second tight end who's predominantly a blocker that was used with a top 100 selection, I know everything I need to know about the offense that you want to run. And it coincidentally just so happened to be a selection in the same draft as Marvin.
Yeah.
And it's like, you look at Marvin and you look at Tip and you're like, this is what we do on offense. The hell it is.
Yeah.
Not yet. You haven't shown that. You've shown like Tip exactly what Drew Petzing wanted in a tight end. And he's like, this is working out great. And it's just like, I don't vibe with your third round blocking tight end that was overdrafted by a round or two before you figure it out with the 4th overall pick. And we're all sitting here asking, like, where are the targets to Marvin?
Yeah.
It's not Tip's fault, but man, it just, to me, it's like kind of bothers me a little bit when I'm just like, can we figure it out with Marv first before we're like, hey, Tip, this is great. This is exactly what we want. Okay. Awesome, guys. I'm really excited about a passing game that literally can't stretch the field, but thank goodness for that second blocking tight end.
I like that you take two, like all these things that Tip Ryman has no control over, and you just crush him and you make him
not his fault. No, it's not.
Make him the face of everything you hate about this offense. That's nice. So now that we've gone from what many people would call an HR violation of Drew Petzing just taking the podium and talking into a microphone, we'll go to acceptable flirting with everybody's favorite coordinator, Nick Ralis. We'll get into that next year on PHNX Cardinals.
Love it. I'm a nice guy. Listen, I like a lot of what the Cardinals do offensively. I don't love everything. I love everything about Desert Financial Credit Union. Desert Financial, my personal credit union, by the way, not a little show boy. I've been with Desert Financial Credit Union for many years. I pivoted off of my Midwestern credit union, not getting the job done. I've upgraded. You can too. Upgrade your financial acumen with folks who've been doing it for more than 84 years. They've been the largest, most trusted local credit union here in Arizona. Tons of locations. They've got experts that are helping you achieve your financial goals and dreams. They're a staple in the community. They're everywhere, and they're here to help you. Look for Desert Financial for checkings, savings, mortgages, loans, credit cards, investment options, and more. Join a credit union that's committed to giving back to the community and giving back to your wallet, by the way. When you open up a free checking account online, get $200 in bonuses. Get started today by visiting desertfinancial.com/200 to get started.
Love that. Desert Financial Credit Union. Of course, when you break out that Cardinals card and you're paying for the drinks, it's unbelievable. Also, what's unbelievable is new digs that we have, this new studio, and everything is put together and everything's intact. Like all this expensive, fragile equipment, like cameras, lights, all these things that go into a major studio like we have, it's all intact. Nothing's busted up because our friends over at 2 Men and Truck got us over here in one piece. It's unbelievable. When life moves forward, they'll be there. And we're talking about 2 Men and Truck. If you're moving, check them out. Number one seed, worst thing you can do, but they make it easier. 2 Men and Truck, 480-991-1805. That's 480-991-1805. Check them out right now and check them out online for your next move. 2menscottsdale.com. 2 Men and a Truck. The movers who care. Also, they've got all your options and solutions as far as storage goes. Check them out for all your storage needs. Also, visit that website, 2menscottsdale.com. Learn more about their storage solutions. Give them a call, 480-991-1805.
Everybody hammer that like button. Subscribe to PHNX Sports here on YouTube. I want to remind everybody, join us for a banner night coming up a week from Thursday, Bo. What's happening then?
Thursday is our residency. I can't believe it's just right around the corner. It is. Yeah, 4:30 live show like you guys are tuning in today. Thank you so much. But you can join us on location and then stick around for a non-broadcast live season preview. It's going to be our PHNX Cardinals Town Hall season preview, getting you ready not just for week one, but beyond that, the entire 2025 slate. Let's get together, talk about it. We'll take your questions. You guys can take the microphones and even talk yourselves. And then we got our fantasy football draft, or PHNX fantasy football draft, plus our diehard fantasy football draft, which is going to be running at the same time. It's going to be a banner day and night over at Gila River Resorts and Casinos at Wild Horse Pass. Come join us for the PHNX Cardinals podcast residency, August 28th. Reserve your free spot today. Don't mess around. Get your spot today. It's full free. And check us out on August 28th.
Let's sit, have some nachos, some wings. We can talk about Tip Ryman. We can talk about Drew Petzing. We can talk about this man, Nick Ralis, who, listen, I think Nick Ralis has done more with less than any defensive coordinator during his tenure.
Yeah.
And I think he's poised to have a breakout season that could net him head coaching interviews in January. And you know what you're getting. I think my biggest issue with Drew is, like, do you get enough out of the players that have been invested? I don't sit here and question for one iota what Ralis is going to do with Walter Nolan, Darius Robinson, Jordan Birch. Like, I get it, because I've seen him do more with the likes of Dennis Gardeck and taking Mack Wilson Sr. and turning his career into, a different caliber of player. So, we'll get into these Ralis clips, but just there's a trust factor that I think a lot of people just don't have with the other side of the ball.
Sure. No, I mean, I think his performance in like performances like the Cowboys win and shutting out the Detroit Lions in the second half last year
game,
putting them, the 3 week streak where they didn't let the opponent score a touchdown at State Farm Stadium. I mean, it was really impressive, especially when you take in consideration the UFL players that were playing on the defensive line. Now that's not the case. He's got a pretty stock group of defensive players, from draft picks to investments in free agency. One of those guys that they've invested in is Jordan Birch, and we talked about him a little bit earlier today, but just hear the defensive coordinator's thoughts on Jordan Birch.
I mean, I think you kind of said it. Like, for how big he is extremely athletic. And I like the way that he's playing right now with uses his size and plays violent. Just thinking about the practice and even in that last game against the Broncos, like, he does some really good things in terms of just power on the edge, whether that's in the run game or pass rush.
290 pounds. I was watching Jordan Birch work out today. He's with the outside linebackers. It's really strange to see because they're all huge, Johnny. Like, you got Josh Sweat at like 6'5", 250. You got Zaven Collins, who profiles about the same. And then you just have this massive, just thick Jordan Birch who's out there, but he's moving just as well as these other guys. And you've seen him. Like, he only played 11 snaps. He got a pressure on Saturday. And then the previous week, he should have had 2 sacks, but they were negated by penalty. I really like what they have from this player out of Oregon, man.
Yeah, I mean, he's somebody that was supposed to go a little bit higher than he did in the draft. He and Denzel Burke, the Cardinals got tremendous value, and Will Johnson, frankly. This value was all about draft. This draft was all about value this past spring, and you see that kind of come to fruition now. I don't know what his ceiling is, but I know his floor, and his floor is somebody that I think can consistently get you historically now what has been Josh Sweat-esque numbers, 7, 8, 9 sacks per season. And I think we're trending toward, yes, Baron Browning's going to play a lot, and he signed a modest 2-year deal, and you can kind of maneuver him how you want. And they want to deploy a lot of edge rushers. This is Jordan Birch's future starting spot. This is Jordan Birch opposite Josh Sweat. Jordan Birch is a run defender caving down on, subpar offensive tackles. I mean, we saw he destroyed the backups for the Kansas City Chiefs a couple weeks ago. Yeah. So physical skill set's not a problem. It's going to come down to consistency, gap assignment, and for him to be able to finish. Like, can he finish on the road on third down where this team historically cannot do? And that's the biggest issue, by the way, with Baron Browning is you can get all the pressures in the world. who can bring the opposing quarterback down. That's what I want to see inserted into this lineup. Who can force a Stafford, a Purdy, a Sam Darnold, all of which are turnover prone, into a crucial interception. It's just the Cardinals have been ill-equipped to do that during Gannon's tenure because of personnel.
Yeah. Can he ratchet up the pressure? Can he do what he did with the Ducks last year, 11 tackles for a loss? You'd love to see it if that can translate and be a part of that rotation that right now I think you have 4 guys that you have confidence in. I asked Ralis today about, Zaven Collins, and does he have, is he poised for, an uptick as far as getting after the quarterback? And he seemed to agree going into his 3rd year playing in this position. And then we got some more insight on Darius Robinson. Just hear what he had to say about 2024 first round pick.
Works now. Like he is every day. I need to meet before everyone's meeting, and I'm staying after the meeting. When we were over at the stadium, my office was in the D-line room, and it felt like his office too, because he's just always in there. So, I think that's a huge reason why he's so confident in what he's doing and why he's playing so fast is because he puts in the time.
We're going to break this down and more during overtime. It's funny. We talk about Jordan Birch. Yeah, we'll go again. Overtime.
Double overtime.
Yeah, and D-Rob. These are 2 players that the Cardinals have big expectations for this year, neither of whom were really here last year. D-Rob was out because of injury, lost his mom tragically, and Birch was, still in the Big Ten at Oregon. So it's just nice to be talking about players that are in their early 20s that are going to make an impact instead of relying on guys that have been cast-offs from other teams or veteran street free agents like Birch and D-Rob and Walter Nolan when he comes back. These are players that are going to be groomed to be a part of this defensive line, hopefully for the next half decade plus. And, Sweat's in there too. He's a little bit older, but again, you outbid teams for him. It's just, we really haven't had a chance because a lot of these guys haven't been playing, and certainly Sweat, I don't think he's going to play at all in the preseason. Same with Calais. That as much as I'm kind of up and down with this offense, this defensive line is going to be as advertised, in my opinion.
Yeah, but as it pertains to draft picks and guys that maybe you didn't see what you wanted to in year 1, as Marvin Harrison Jr. or Darius Robinson, or what you're about to witness with Will Johnson, is these guys, the lack of the success or maybe the delayed gratification of getting to watch these guys make big plays week in and week out, it's not going to be for a lack of effort.
Right.
I mean, what we're hearing and lack of effort, and also as far as how they're just physically gifted.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you couple the physical specimens that both D-Rob and Marvin Harrison Jr. are, coupled with an uncanny work ethic where you've got Darius Robinson, who's putting in the work just like Marv did this offseason on his body. And then he's in training camp and he's going and he's talking to Nick Ralis before meetings. And then he's picking his brain each and every time he can. He says his office was my office. I mean, that's the stuff you want to hear. And that's the stuff that kind of you don't get from all these players who are as gifted physically as these guys. And that's why you say, hey, that's why my confidence hasn't waned in either Marv or D-Rob, because they put in the work. And they also happen to be, D-Rob 6'5", 290 and Marv 6'4", 220 now. And they're going to be able to once the game kind of slows down to them, they're going to make plays.
We were sitting waiting for the end of the press conferences after the joint practice in Denver. And we still hadn't heard from Trey. Trey was kind of holding court and doing his rounds, native of Colorado. And Calais did an impromptu kind of press conference with the media that was there from both markets. And I was kind of standing in the back, and then here comes this big shadowy figure, and it's Walter Nolan. Casts a huge shadow over you because you're Darius Robinson, excuse me. And I'm standing there, and he's just sitting there, and he wants to ask a question of Calais, and then he told a reporter, he's like, "Nah, I'm too nervous. I'm just gonna stand in here, and I'm gonna watch my guy." Right?
Yeah.
And like we say all these things, it's cliche. It's like, hey, I hope this person, is a sponge, or they shadow. We're bringing in Calais, and he's really gonna mold this defensive tackle group. And that's good for clicks, and that's it's great because you want that. You want Josh Sweat to be a great example. there's a special relationship going on with D-Rob and Calais. And it's like, this is exactly what this franchise needs. The passing of the baton, really the last true great defensive tackle this franchise has produced. Before him, it was Darnell Dockett, then it was Calais Campbell, and then we've had an exodus of, Zach Allen blossomed after he left, right? And J.J. Watt got here too late. And, there's been some solid contributors here and there. And it's like, you see the commitment. I mean, Darius's commitment and his ability to be a sponge with Calais when you know that physicality and physical attributes are not in question, that bodes well for Cardinal fans. And D-Rob has about an eighth of the career Calais had. I mean, it's going to be a home run pick, and it's somebody that we were bullish on last year, and it was so unfortunate when he went down because I truly believe, I've said this before, he would have had a Braden Fisk type of rookie season. He would have had 6 or 7 sacks. He would have been violent. He would have been on everybody's like under 25 trending up, and he had a season robbed from him, and he's making up for lost time. He has looked unbelievable in training camp.
Yeah, and what we loved about the offensive line that's been so consistent the last couple of years in the camaraderie and just how well they got, and it's a tight-knit group from starters to backups. That's what kind of some things we're hearing about this defensive line. And you've got these 2 veteran presence that they were added, and they were big additions this offseason, Dalvin Tomlinson and Calais Campbell respectively, but they're fitting right in, and they're answering questions from these youngsters, and they're leading by example, but also they're just fitting right in. It's like, hey, young buck, I've been in this league for 18 years. Go get me a Krispy Kreme donut and do it on the double. Or Dalvin Tomlinson, like, bark and order. Is not the case. Like, this is one of the tighter groups on the team, and this is when one of the more underserved units. I think it's just going to translate into being a big part of success here in 2025.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned work ethic. It's the biggest reason why I haven't lost confidence in Marv and or Darius, because the amount of time that those 2 individuals spend to their craft and the fact that they are both disappointed with their output from a year ago. And again, they're going to be perfectionists. And I'm sure like Aaron Donald was never happy with his contributions, winning defensive player of the year every year. But like, that's what you want to see. And that's the biggest reason why, like, I don't know if Darius is ever going to be better than Jared Verse or some of those guys that were drafted ahead of him. But you just know, like, this is a guy that's going to get his 5th-year option picked up. This is a guy, if he stays healthy, that's going to get a second contract. Same with Marv. And for a franchise that has missed so badly, not only on the player, but the person, I mean, you understand why the Cardinals are going this route. So the problem is, though, it's not instant gratification. It's not instant results. Like, not everybody can be Garrett Williams, where it looks almost kind of seamless for interception his first game, like right away.
Yeah.
So that's where the patience is asked for. And that's why it'd be such a disappointment this year, because we feel like so many players are poised to pop, like D-Rob and Marv, Taylor Demerson. Can the team meet them at their level? Can they do enough to carry the Cardinals to the postseason?
Well, there are a couple, and you mentioned one of them, just like success stories, Garrett Williams being one of them. I think Trey McBride, once the new regime got their hands on him and they saw that there was a willingness to put the work in, obviously confidence is not going to be accepting to under 30 catches their rookie season and 200 yards. Like, Trey McBride wanted more for himself because he knew and he had the belief in himself and was willing to put in the work. So, those being things you can point to, and now you can, hopefully continue to do so. And that's how good teams are built. Like, you just get those good people, those good players, and the guys that are just relentless as far as trying to become better. It usually works out.
Good stuff from Ralis and Drew Petzing today. Cardinals back at practice tomorrow, and you anticipate hopefully by Thursday, Bo, we know the plan for the preseason game finale.
Yeah, we'll talk to JG early, about 9:30 tomorrow morning. We'll see if willing to give up any info, but they've got tomorrow and Thursday on the practice field, so we'll see if we get any insight. Just a couple days, a little low tempo today, so maybe they ramp things up tomorrow, and then say farewell to the preseason. We're in the final week of this thing, can't get here soon enough. But we want to find out what we're going to have to endure come Saturday night.
Let's jump in a couple super chats today. Joey, $4.99. Kennedy, appreciate everybody who sends in their super chats. Appreciate your patience. Monti Ossenfort should trade for Micah and or Trey so no other NFC West teams can. I think that's part of the gig in the NFC West. And I think the Niners have done a really good job balancing it, where it's like they've hit on so many players through the draft and they've supplemented, right? Like with the Trent Williams. I didn't even bring this up earlier, like Christian McCaffrey was traded for a 2nd round pick. And I didn't like the trade. I told Bo when it happened. We were on air. I'm like, that's a stupid trade. And it's incorrect. Should have been the MVP. So you're in a division, fair or not. This is not the cupcake AFC, NFC South. These aren't dormant divisions. This is not only one of the most active divisions, but unfortunately for you, one of the most competent and well-run divisions in the NFL. Like, the Niners are down right now. They've got a championship pedigree. John Schneider's probably going to the Hall of Fame. His work in Seattle. And then, Les Snead and McVay could potentially be en route to Canton. Like, to overtake that is going to require some big swings.
Yeah.
It's going to require you to be uncomfortable. You cannot. I love the approach.
Yeah.
To overtake those teams, you can't nickel and dime your way to prominence. Not every draft pick is going to hit.
Was it fortune favors the bold, right?
Yep.
I mean, that's a cliche, a saying. And you got to decide which way you're going to go. I mean, you're a draft and develop team. Are you going to continue to double down, triple down on your investments and say, these are the guys, we believe in them? Or are you going to say, hey, we feel like we've done a good job in that department. Now it's time to expedite this thing, take it to a whole nother level, and let's go make a splash move. I think there's different schools of thought there.
Yeah, I don't build your team off of it, Keim style, but
Right.
Don't be afraid to do it as a direct kind of counter. Like Chandler Jones, DeAndre Hopkins helped you win a lot of games here. But then it was like the Rodney Hudsons and the Chosen Andersons and the Hollywood Browns, where it was like, I've had enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
But doesn't mean it's not a viable option. Shaft, our guy, $10. We only have 2 spots left for the new Die Hard Fantasy Football League. If you're interested, just let me know. I'll tell you how to join. It's going to be a lot of fun, and you get a chance to play against our hosts. That's right. Bo and I are going to be drafting not only the PHNX Sports Fantasy Football League next Thursday, but the Die Hard draft, my guy.
That's right. This is going to be an elite year of fantasy football. Join your diehards, your friends in the chat, and then also join Johnny and myself. Can't wait to be a part of this. Signed up. Got to come up with a name. Haven't. I've just got the stock name in there so far as a placeholder. But, you guys can also help me out with that. But can't wait to fire it up that night of the residency, 28th. We're going to be making picks together and really dialing this thing in for the season.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody hit that like button. Alberto's saying, Johnny, pick and tip in the first round. You'll have to wait and see.
Ooh.
I sent both this video on Twitter of this guy in his local league thinking he's taking Bijan Robinson and instead taking Brian Robinson. And I asked Bo, I said, if that happened to me, would you let me take back the pick and redo it? And he said, what, Bo?
No, we're cutthroat here. And if it happens to any of you, even though we love you guys for watching and listening, we will roast you and we will make you pay and hold you accountable for getting the wrong name tag for your fantasy football selection.
There's nothing like drafting in person for your league. I will say that. And so painting the vibes next Thursday. Again, we want to see all of you. Let's have a blast together with our friends at Wild Horse Pass. It's going to be a great time, Bo.
It's going to be an awesome time. Can't wait for it to happen. Can't wait for another big show tomorrow, Wednesday. We've got, we'll have the sight sounds from practice, and then we'll be getting you closer and closer, hopefully with some more info. And we'll see if there's any movement as far as the top edge rushers who appear to be available. Trey Hendrickson and Micah Parsons. Make sure you're subscribed to PHNX Sports, our march towards 50K subscribers. It continues. You don't want to miss anything. As we teased a little bit earlier, big announcement, big guest incoming for the 2025 season that you're going to want to be locked in to what we're doing over here at PHNX Sports and PHNX Cardinals. Follow on all your socials at PHNX_Cardinals. Follow Johnny Venerable and follow myself, Bo Brack. For our great producer, Noah, enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. We'll talk to you 4:30 tomorrow here on PHNX Cards.
We all silly like the mayor.